Welcome to Be Free Energy. I'm Brielle, an intuitive healer, mystic astrologer with a folklore background who pays respects to all traditions and origins. I hope to bring ancient wisdom to the modern world and help you be free in your energy.
Hello, my loves. We are back better than ever, and I am just so excited to have this space to be with you guys. And a little life update. I just took some time to myself the past 2 seasons. I know I haven't really said anything since Taurus season, but nevertheless, that was great for my own growth. And I really strive not to have another break like that in my content, but I absolutely appreciate your grace, your patience, and that we're showing up together and being back and better than ever for the one and only Leo season. Okay, so this episode is all about Leo season and where we're at energetically and just the cosmic currents right now of what we're moving through. We do have a lot of Leo energy, and I'm excited for that. And I kind of want to see how this is landing, do like an intuitive energy update, see how the cosmos are different than last time we chatted. And also, since we've talked, I've kind of decided to look into my own programming of our content together and see how I want to distribute episodes, how I want to structure the podcast. So that's in my own kind of realm right now. And as you are a part of this platform and listening with me, you'll kind of see how that unfolds, but getting more organized on that end and just excited to have a diversified platform. And my content will consist of some energy updates, like what we go through weekly and those kinds of transits, but also some ways to work within your own personal power and how astrology can empower you and what to look for in the birth chart and how to decipher this code for yourself. And I want to touch on some of that and in some of the episodes help you and teach on just some educational topics for understanding astrology for self-empowerment. And then I also am having some ways in which you can live with the natural cycles of life, like the wheel of the year, like each zodiac season, like each natural season, and the cycles within our body and also externally in the world and environment around us. So, I'm so excited to be back, and I'm going to jump into Leo season and just have all the excitement and enthusiasm as Leo naturally embodies. On July 22nd, the sun will enter Leo around 9:29 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. I'm in the US, but that will vary. And over here, it's really hot and humid, so that Leo fire is just more than ever present. And I'm excited to feel some of that fiery momentum. Cancer season was crying in bodies of water for me. That's what that was. And I absolutely love that, soaking up the moonlight. But this kind of transition between that feminine moonlight goddess and what Cancer season was, and this, switch going into more momentum in the fire and the masculine polarity with Leo is kind of how we're bridging the gap right now. Leo season invites courage and it rules the heart space. And during Leo season, we also host the 8/8 portal on August 8th, which is Lionsgate. And I can't wait to do an episode over that one. You guys, last year I got my Reiki attunement done on Lionsgate, and there was just some real potent messages flowing through. And I would love to talk about that in my experience and what all the lore is between Lionsgate, and that will be later in August. But yeah, that's hosted in Leo season. So with Leo season, it's bringing the drama. If you can picture a cartoon character with makeup done up, hair to the nines, a boa feathery scarf, it's just like so beautiful and dramatic. And I always think of like old-timey, classy, like burlesque kind of vibes when I think of Leo. It's dramatic like that, and to me it's on a stage and it's just in costume, and it's like just the star. It's the celebrity. It's meant to be in the spotlight. But I kind of think about things differently when I talk about current energy transits versus how that placement is for you on a personal level. And so currently it's like, what are the waters? What are we navigating right now? What's this temperature? What's the climate? So that's really why I like to say this cosmic astro weather and see what's going on. So, how is Leo season feeling? To me, it feels less chaotic than the other fire signs, Aries and Sagittarius. Leo is a fixed modality for the fire element, and that is just more grounded, it's more centered, and since it rules the heart, to me, it's like an invitation to be operating from your heart center, operating from a centered place, even using the fire for, creativity, enthusiasm, and passion. Really, that's wrapped up in the fire element. But it's not as squirrel. It's not as like all over the place or like jumping around to me. And that's kind of the beauty of what Leo brings. So the lion, the lioness, the lion imagery for this alias of the zodiac is such a symbol of courage and bravery. I also like to think the most loyal in the zodiac are Scorpio and Leo, both. And yeah, they are actually both fixed modalities for their elements, they're fixed signs. But there's just something about the loyalty that Leo brings, because you see this as a role that's the celebrity, that's the star, that's in the spotlight. But when you strip it down to its heart, when you wash away the facade and the cameras are gone and the spotlight is turned off, at the end of the day, you have someone who is your ride or die. You have someone who is so loyal and will protect their loved ones with that innate courage that they possess. Yeah, like Leo season activities are often encouraged to be under an umbrella of things that light you up, because Leo has this enthusiasm, this passion, this creativity, but also what is serving your heart, what is filling up your cup, how are you, just involving yourself in activities that warm your heart. This passion and enthusiasm I speak of really just brings yellow and orange hues to my eyes. I mean, this is something you can feel. This is like solar plexus energy. This is something where your creativity is vamped up. I really feel like the momentum is vamped up. And in Leo season, you get to focus on what it is that's really lighting you up, and it's a really good time for a mid-year check-in. So after we've been cozy and tidy to the home in Cancer season, after we've done some reflection and some inner healing work, getting close to our emotions, those are all kind of like moon lunar themes. Leo is ruled by the sun. And so now in this season, we're seeing, okay, what is the purpose of it all? What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was on this path. Oh yeah, this is the whole point. Like the trend, I remember I forgot that this is the whole point. It's your path being illuminated, and that is what the sun in astrology represents. The sun rules Leo, and the sun is your core self, but it's also our path, and the sun we often grow into as we age. So we grow into our sun sign a little bit, and as we grow older, we start to understand that sun sign based on experience and where we're being led starts to make sense. But when we're younger, we are operating off our innate instincts, and that's our moon. We're operating off our emotions. Like a young child will not hesitate to cry as soon as something upsets them or they need to release and express their feelings. It's like that when we're young and we are operating off our moon sign, and then we kind of grow into that sun sign. So here's Leo season. Here's the midpoint of the year in the Gregorian calendar. And, it's still a little bit of the beginning for the zodiac calendar. So what's being illuminated? What are we doing on our path that is getting us to the place we want to be? What is the light at the end of the tunnel? How are we focusing on this and coming into our core self and connecting with all of these sun themes? So I want to talk about Leo season, the Leo new moon this week, and how Mercury retrograde in Leo is landing for us. But this time, doing a little something different. I would like to have some journal prompts and some altar suggestions at the end of this episode. So I'll be excited to share that with y'all. Just stay tuned for those. The Leo season affirmation I am working with is now posted on my website, which is befree-energy.com, or you can have it linked below and click that in my show notes. But this is my Leo season affirmation. I proudly exude radiant and vibrant light from my heart center. I proudly exude radiant and vibrant light from my heart center. Just breathing that in, that proudness, Leo's pride there, is proudly shining its light without shame. I love the inner child work here. I love Leo's drive to be unapologetically you. How can you be in the energy that your inner child was not ashamed of? How can you be flamboyant and dramatic and flaunty and flashy and just have fun with it? That's the point. To me, that's the point, is to just stay in your light. You are not here to be somebody else. Nobody is you, and that is your power. I absolutely love those mantras for Leo season. Now, in our birth chart, we can see personally how Leo is showing up for us. You can pull up your chart or message me with your info, and I will help dissect that with you. But the house and planets or asteroids or points or any celestial kind of body in Leo will kind of give you a taste to how Leo is operating for you. And what house that is kind of like what arena of life Leo rules for you as well. So definitely shoot me a message if you're curious about that. But this is what you can look to for this season. Where is Leo for you, and what is being lit up for you right now in your chart? You can also look to its ruler, the sun, and just be reminded of your sun and your path and how you're connecting to self right now. And traditionally, the fifth house is ruled by Leo. So the fifth house has themes of creativity, creative life, children, and to me, it feels so like yellow. It just feels like, again, that like solar plexus recharging radiant light. This house hosts themes also of just play and fun and hobbies and what you're doing to sharpen the saw. If you guys remember in in school, some of those habits were introduced, the 7 habits, and sharpen the saw. I think was the 7th habit. And that's just like, okay, what are you doing for fun? Like, that's the 5th house in astrology. Your passion projects can be here, your children can be here, but how you're having fun with that, how you're serving your inner child, it's called the house of joy, the house of fun in astrology. So, what's Leo doing for you? How are you having some fun? And the sun here has themes of just that self expression and authenticity. This is where your personality shines, and you can be your true self. So, currently, the sun and Mercury are in Leo, and they are actually sat this week near the midheaven, and that is known as the MC or the midheaven, which is an angle, and you can see that at the very top of your birth chart. So, your rising sign or your ascendant sign kicks off the horizontal line in your chart that goes from left to right, and the left side is where your ascendant starts. Well, just like in geometry, when you have a horizontal line and a vertical line and there's an axis in the middle, I'm talking about now the midheaven, which is on that vertical line, and that is at the very top of your chart. So these are both angles that I think are so important in your birth chart. So on the left, you have your ascendant, and the right, you have your descendant with that horizontal line. And with the vertical line, you have your MC or midheaven at the top, and at the bottom is your IC, but it's also known as the nadir, and that's the lowest point in your birth chart. So opposite that at the top is our midheaven. That is what we're striving for. That is like our role. It's kind of like an archetype role. And currently, the sun and Mercury in Leo are both up there now, sitting near the midheaven. So this is really interesting as we're prepping for the new moon, because we're going to have this stellium. We're going to have these celestial bodies in Leo kind of sitting near each other and kind of tightly hugging. And I think that's really interesting because sometimes that can be harmonious, but sometimes they can be, influencing each other, or thinking about how Mercury might be right now impacting your sun, and how that kind of relationship is currently. So, going into Mercury and Leo, we currently have the planet of communication, Mercury, in Leo, and we're starting Leo season with this. Now, Mercury is stationed retrograde, and it will station direct August 10th, and this is getting us to think about our creativity and our self-expression. Again, these are Leo themes and 5th house themes, and just using all of this lore behind us to think about, okay, what's being like lit up for me right now? The sun themes of expression and self and your core path, the 5th house themes of creativity and projects and hobbies and having fun. And Mercury comes in with some communication and technology. But to me, I kind of want to strip away what technical technology is for us right now. And I know that it's very hot in pop astrology to focus on like modern technology for Mercury retrograde and talking about how things can get lost. And of course, that can sometimes occur in like mail and email and your messaging and how you're communicating with each other. But if we think about it in more of an abstract term, instead of thinking about the physical technology, how are we communicating? Well, it's going across in air, across seas, across realms, getting from one place to another. Retrograde is when a planet appears to be moving backwards. So if you view that through a telescope, the celestial body kind of looks like it's veering off course or dipping back a little. And sometimes when it does that, it teeters between one sign and the other sign and will dip back into one sign. But that's how we're viewing it. That's what retrograde means. And Mercury is not the only celestial body to retrograde. It does this, however, about every 4 months. I mean, you can count on maybe 4 times a year Mercury to be retrograde. And I do have to say, when it stations direct August 10th, that day and a half is like one of the great astrology days to work with. I'm really looking forward to August 11th. That was just in some of my year ahead readings, and I'm thinking that that will be just a good supportive day for us, and I can talk more about that in the 8/8 Lionsgate episode because that will be closer to August 11th. But yeah, this focus of Mercury in Leo, let's think about it in a more abstract way. If it's communication and Leo has these hobbies and passions, how are we getting imaginative? How are we thinking about our creativity in a way that serves our self expression? Leo is a font of creative ideas and is quick witted. Leo loves to amuse others when it's in Mercury. And if you have a personal Mercury and Leo placement, everyone will listen to you. I mean, take that as good or bad, but like everyone will listen to you. Whatever you have to say, people will listen to you and they want to know. They want to know what it is you have to say if you're a Leo Mercury. And I really love that. It would be very great to be writing in some sort of blog, book, kind of in the public eye. But yeah, generally, Leo and Mercury is lighthearted. The only downfall is that Leo's ideas may take precedence over everyone else's. Leo is an authoritative speaker and an able storyteller, which I absolutely love hearing Mercury Leos tell their experiences or relay what they've gone through because it's just like you're enveloped in this story. So, definitely good storyteller trait there. But potentially they are prone to monologuing as Leo is the self and is in that spotlight. So let's just hear everyone out right now. I know we're thinking about how Mercury and Leo could be focusing on itself. But yeah, everyone has a story to tell. And I think doing something that encourages you to kind of rewrite that story for yourself or fix the narrative that, you've been working with, or if you've mentally told yourself something over and over, really look and assess and say, is that how I think about that? Is that the narrative I want for that anymore? Like, I think we can rewrite these internally and intrinsically for ourselves now. That's a great time to say, I want the narrative to be like this now, or I'm going to choose that this is how it's landing. And Leo Mercury is such an external processor. Talking it out right now is absolutely what we need. A Leo Mercury must talk it out, and thinking out loud certainly helps navigate their emotions as well. But I think we can use that collectively right now and just think, okay, I believe I need to have a phone call with my bestie, or I just need to have a quick chat and think out loud about this, and as I'm talking, I will figure it out and externally process this and hear myself think and talk out loud, and it will get me to that endpoint, and I'll feel more connected and know how I feel about this deal. I saw this thing, and it might have been something in psychology, but it says something about 12 minutes, like the 12-minute conversation. And all you need is 12 minutes with your best friend, a trusted partner, a parent, a sister, a mom, that 12 minutes will help you significantly get out of your head and you worry less about it on the other end. So you kind of come out that conversation with more clarity and less stress. So that's something where it's only 12 minutes. Like, you'll feel better. And just using this for an enthusiastic way to self-express and rewrite your own narrative. All right, so Wednesday, we have a beautiful new moon. As soon as Leo season starts on Tuesday, we have the new moon on Wednesday. And this is sitting nice and tight with Pluto in Aquarius. So we have a really good chance at some kind of new beginning. As always, new moons are a time for rest, new beginnings, recuperation, and usually this phase is best for setting intentions. And I do feel that way. But this one, being in tune with Pluto here, is going to be very transformative. Let's look at it with an alchemical lens. What are we transmuting for ourself and our path to then be setting ourselves up for new beginnings in the way that we want to, connect with self, connect with our emotions, connect with our path and the trajectory and where we're heading. I just think all of this is good food for thought as we're setting these intentions under the new moon in Leo. Wednesday, July 23rd, the new moon happens in Leo, and I know I will be setting my intentions and kind of just assessing where I'm at in the midpoint of the year. I really think it's a time to get reflective and think, okay, the mid-year slump is over. Calling it right here, the mid-year slump is over. Y'all, let's feel the fire and feel the momentum and let that carry us and just rapidly support us from underneath. This is a time for inner reflections, and if you can cut out moments with your journal or with some friends and really go inward, I think that will yield an introspective time for your own growth. And sometimes we can hermit mode in retrograde periods, and that really resonates because, again, with the technology barrier, I do feel more at home and in myself and in my peace, and sometimes get distracted with phones and socials and everything with notifications popping up for that. Retrograde season can also just sometimes things just get under my skin a little bit. It's easier to be like agitated, but I'm thinking, instead of the hermit mode, let's see how we can be there for friends and conversations when we're externally processing, like with Mercury and Leo. But then, just carve out that time with self to see what's serving us. And under the new moon, I think it'd be nice to have some chats with your close friends. Leo is extravagant and it is out there. So, whatever is occurring this week is going to be loud and it's going to be said with its chest. And I think there's some pride in that when you get to speak without shame and speak without guilt. But, I'm still focusing on the heart center and seeing how we can operate from our heart space. Using anything with the heart chakra or green stones and crystals like green aventurine would be really nice at this time. Okay, y'all. So now I'm going to have some altar suggestions and then some journal prompts to end this little energy update. Again, as we're in Leo season, I really just think you should go with whatever lights you up. For an altar suggestion, you can either spruce up an existing altar to match and correlate with some Leo season themes, or you can have a space that is dedicated to the current season and switch that out as needed. So for Leo season, anything that makes you glow, what makes you shine, and what lights you up can be added on here. Decorate your altar with golds, yellow, and orange hues to invoke the sun. And if you have a sunstone crystal, that would be great on your altar or to gift to your fellow Leo friend. Call upon any regal or glamorous deity. All of the fantastic and flamboyant beasts and felines of all sizes can be called upon for Leo season. If you want to charge this altar, bless it with an improv performance for you and you alone. Hold nothing back. Place offerings of glitter, sequins, costume jewelry, anything that sparkles and glints. And I think even if you have some leftover crafts, some art supplies work great here. And any images of your childhood that bring you joy, any picture frames you have of your younger self, can be placed on your altar. These are magical artifacts to showcase on a Leo season altar. I even have one, and this is coming to mind, that I absolutely want to use on my Leo altar. I have like a gold ornate frame, and it's decorated in this picture frame, so the gold hues are very much there. But the picture in it is from when I was in maybe like first grade, and it's in a tap dance recital costume, and it's from the dance performance. And I wasn't a dancer, y'all. Like, I don't remember doing any dance. I just think I did my tap dance practice like once or twice at that age. But that costume has a tutu, yellow tights, and I remember getting flowers that night, and I just like was on stage and can vividly remember that. And so that would be perfect as a performer, as a dancer, for that picture to be on my Leo season altar. Okay, so these last journal prompts I will say twice so that if you want to jot them down, you absolutely can. And I just came up with these based on the episode, what was flowing in as I was typing out some notes. So these are just some intuitive questions to connect us with these themes, to connect us with our enthusiasm, our inner child, our core path, and the fifth house themes, Leo themes, and Sun rulership themes. The first journal prompt is: what goals that were set from the new year come to mind in a mid-year check-in? What goals that were set from the new year come to mind in a mid-year check-in? Who do you want to be in 6 months? Who do you want to be in 6 months? What are you chipping away at right now that shapes you into the best version of you? What are you chipping away at right now that shapes you into the best version of you? What intentions are you setting to connect to your higher self? What intentions are you setting to connect to your higher self? How are you inviting in leadership? How are you inviting in leadership? How are you inviting in play, inner child? Play, inner child. What areas of life do you want to take by the reins? What areas of life do you want to take by the reins? All right, my loves, that is kind of what's been on my mind and how I'm navigating this week. So Leo season is coming in bright and bold, and I encourage you to be fearless and really work with your strength and your bravery, and know that you can muster up courage at any point you need to during Leo season. It's just an innate energy. Like, you can reach right out and grab it. And in tarot, the major arcana has the strength card that is associated with Leo. If you have any feline and lioness energy, use the lion as a symbol of pride, and I really see strength embodied in that. I mean, it is king of the jungle, and in the animal kingdom, it's one of the top predators, and I just think that that speaks volumes. I really like the imagery from the Narnia Chronicles and movies where the lion in that is like metaphorically resembling God in that context for those books. And I mean, he sacrifices himself, and he's just loyal to the collective, to people. And I really have that reminded during Leo season. That imagery comes up. So I hope that you are using your voice and having passion and enthusiasm caressed through your veins. I hope that you're self-expressing and not having any shame, and just standing in that authenticity. How are you connecting to the new moon? How are you connecting to self, your path, and all these core attributes? I would love to know how the new structure is landing for y'all. And if y'all are having any of these prompts or working in your journal, I think I'm going to use these prompts around the new moon on Wednesday and just take some time to journal about these. And if you want them written in the caption, I will put them in the show notes for this episode, and you can just kind of screenshot or copy and paste. Definitely share. If you can, post or send this episode to a friend or someone you think might resonate with. And if you're loving the show, I would love and appreciate any feedback, messages, or DMs. My line is open. My Instagram is bfree1999, and I'm excited to go through with more episodes for y'all soon. I am going to do a Lionsgate episode, and I'm also going to do a Leo archetype episode, where this one is more so the energies of this week and how to work with the new moon and Mercury in Leo and retrograde. But the Leo archetype and the folklore and everything behind the stars and constellations and correlations and all of that is another episode I want to do soon. For all things Leo, you can take both of these through with you and hold close to heart during Leo season. Okay, well, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for sharing and loving and supporting this platform. This has been the Be Free Energy Podcast, where I talk about all things astrology, energy updates, intuition, and folklore. And if you're liking this, I don't think I have had any reviews yet, but it would just mean the world to me if you put in some stars and a little word, and that would light me up and just warm my heart so much if y'all can leave any reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify here. And my website is up. My readings are available. I offer birth chart and natal chart readings for you guys. And I have even freebies where you can just ask me some questions. Always DM me and I'll respond with a voice note. So you can find all that information and more at www.befree-energy.com. That's also in the show notes, which is my whole brand and website. So again, thank you guys so much. And I'm wishing you all the best. Blessings!